What if there was a way to record high-quality audio with a condenser microphone, but wireless? What if I told you there is? Not having to deal with this or this. Xvive Audio kindly sent me their U3C microphone wireless system for condenser microphones. And let me tell you, this is a sleek little piece of gear. I will tell you all about this wireless system and what the proper use is and see how they could benefit your workflow. So I use a pair of these Neumann U87 condenser microphones, and I use them for my delicate studio recordings when I want that really crisp, high quality, professional sounding vocals or instruments. This is a condenser microphone. This is a dynamic microphone, and they do work in very different ways. Since I'm using condenser microphones today a lot more than I use a dynamic microphone, this wireless system is coming in very handy for my workflow. I would not bring this on a stage because it's way too sensitive for that, but it works perfectly because I am performing in my studio environment. So this is a very closed, calm environment, and this is the ideal place for a condenser microphone like this one. That's why Xvive Audio wanted to send me their condenser microphone version. I'm gonna be honest here, like using cables, it's not a problem, like especially not like this, but it still can be a bit of a headache. I think that a lot of musicians and producers like yourself would probably agree to this. When you get really tired of cables and you want to be able to move freely around your studio environment or on a stage, really, it's such a great option to be able to work wireless. I like everything that it's minimal and takes as less space as possible. That's the kind of gear that I really, really like. So this is right up my alley. Let's take a look. First, you got the transmitter, and they have kindly named the pieces so that you just won't mess up which one is which. So that's really nice for someone like me. This is the part that goes into the microphone. The U3C transmitter provides phantom power. That means that this little thing is transmitting electricity into the condenser microphone, and it needs this to work. This is so clever that it's all in this little piece. So here you can choose 48 or 12 volts. I have never worked with a microphone with 12 volts. I'm sure there are models that use them, but it's not that common. The most common one is the 48 volts. It does have a mute button as well that you can switch to. Say you're on a stage or something and you don't want the sound to go out into the speakers while pausing between a song or something like that. You can just mute it. The other part is the receiver. Now, the receiver is named U3, and U3 is the original wireless microphone series from Xvive that work for dynamic microphones. In my case, I'm using the condenser microphone a lot more, so that's why this suits me better. In both series, the U3 and the U3C, the receiver is identical, is exactly the same. If you feel really ambitious, you can not only subscribe to my YouTube channel, but also you can use up to 6 of these units at the same time. And you do that by just switching the channels. So they can't be on the same channel, obviously, when they work wireless, but they have their own channel like this that you can switch between. Let's see how this piece of gear actually works. You would have your microphone like this, and I mean, condenser microphones comes in 1 million different kinds of ways. There are small ones, there are big ones, there are made for studio recordings, there are ones made for live performances, so there are so many. But what they have in common is the XLR input. This is the input you would see in a regular cable, right? So instead of using the cable, you will simply just use the transmitter instead. So you got your microphone here, and this got the XLR connection. So you just simply connect them together. You can push this little button right here and just connect them. and you turn on the power like that, and now it is wireless. Completely wireless. How cool is that? And if you would have a dynamic microphone, it would work exactly the same, but you wouldn't use the phantom power transmitter U3C version, but the U3 version, and it would connect exactly the same, like that. Really, really sleek to use on stage, if you ask me. The receiver would go into whatever you're using, like a loop station, an interface, it could be a mixer on stage, and you get the signal flowing into there, and that is so awesome. Voila, wireless. One thing that is really nice with wireless systems is that all of a sudden you can move around, right? The operating range of this particular system is approximately 27 meters or 90 feet. That is line of sight. I've seen actually other people made it work through walls, but I wouldn't do it. To be on the safe side, I would use it like in one room or in a huge hall or outside. Works perfectly fine in line of sight. So how about phantom power and battery life? It comes with a mini USB charging cable. The good part about it is that it can charge both of the units at the same time. Just yes. Like I said, there's another version of this system called the U3, and it's made for dynamic microphones. The difference between them is that the U3 does not provide phantom power. That means that the device using phantom power would obviously drain faster because it's basically sending out electricity. However, the battery life is actually set to work everywhere between 3 and 7 hours. That would obviously depend on what microphone you use and how much it actually drains. Say, for example, that you would have a live performance or a live stream or something like that for longer than 5 hours at a time. I would have that in consideration. But to me, I have never done a gig longer than like 2 or 3 hours. So you would be good to go. Obviously, you would love to have these charged when you use them. But if there would come a time where they just die on you and you need to keep going, you can actually charge them while using them. So that's a good thing. Let me know in the comments what you think about wireless systems. Is it something that you have tried or wanting to try? Do you think that it would suit your workflow? Let me know. The U3C, I would suggest, is ideal in a studio environment like this, but also during live performances and streams. Not only is it great for vocals and, speakers, like public speakers and stuff like that, but it also works perfectly for instruments using condenser microphones, like it could be brass or guitar or something like that. It could also work perfectly for video creators, shooting interviews or documentary style videos. Like this video if you find this little piece of gear interesting. Overall, the U3C works really well and it's very easy to use. If you think that the U3 or the U3C is something that's gonna suit your workflow, you find the link down below to the top resellers in Scandinavia. Click on this link to watch my live looping performances and how I use microphones in action.